Okay, tattoo testimony came out today. I'm going to share a little bit, of course, but you've already seen some of it, the different tattoos that I have and whatnot. But the most interesting ones I would say I want to share on are the numbers on my fingers and the backstory and what God has done with that. God will use everything. He will redeem anything that you let him. A couple vampires, huge portraits on my legs. I was really into like horror and everything and vampires type stuff, you know. So I have Malia Nurmi, which is Vampira. I don't know if you've ever seen Plan 9 from Outer Space, but I also have Dracula, Bela Lugosi. I've got little bat down here. I've got Let Go or Be Dragged in typewriter lettering, which looks like it's being pieced apart because, you know, let go or be dragged. Get it? And I've got a huge fat ankh on my shin, and then I've got the 3 monkeys, the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys, because I was really into Charmed, and I ended up having, along with all the trinkets in my house, all the idols and things, little totems of those things, all up in my witchcraft era. And the ankh is a big one. Most of them don't really bother me. I'm like, whatever, they're my testimony. People see them, like, I don't care. They still like kind of look cool at times, you know, whatever. But walking into church with the fat ankh on my leg when I'm wearing like a skirt or shorts or something because it's like hot and I'm like, I just can't cover it, you know. I'm kind of like, like, how can I even cover that one? It is so dark. It would be a very intense cover up. So most of my tattoos, God has just told me, leave them. They're part of your testimony. They're going to be conversation starters. They're going to be like, wow, her too, you know, Jesus can help her too, you know. There's a few that he has told me eventually I could work on some cover-ups. And then I haven't got the go to like remove any of them. But a big cover-up will be this huge Kali goddess on my hip with the tongue and death and destruction and all that. So I probably won't fully remove it or cover it. I'm going to cover the tongue, like the nasty part that makes it like Kali, and blast her with a flower or something. And then I've got big Sri Yantra sacred geometry. I've got more sacred geometry in my neck. I've got the flower of life, and we all know these are not great things, right? And it's right on my spiritual gateway area where I have lots of problems. Go figure. I want to do something with that one too. Put an actual flower or something over it. I've got my tarot card, one of my early on, another bat. I have 3 different bats. I've got one right here, and it's the Hanged Man. I've got the Yin Yang. Goodness. I've got a couple on the backs of my legs, different occult symbols, like the triquetra and the, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. The 3 spirals. I don't even care anymore, and I can't even see them. So unless I turn around all weird. And then I've got Timet Nosk. Best believe I still love this one. Matrix. If you know, you know. I've got this little gravestone, and it says, "You talk too much." And it's kind of that was a self-fulfilling thing too. Death of my old relationship. Anyways, I've got There Is No Spoon. Again, if you know, you know. Love it. Lose Your Mind. There's still truth to this one. Lose your mind and fill up on the word. That's in one of the songs as well. I've got the song Smile on my back, a little portion of that lyrics. I've got a moon on my back. So I was all up into the moon stuff. Again, here with the moon, downward, triangle, feminine, lunar, you know, all that lunar worship, feminism crap. The 2 black cats, which I didn't have 2 black cats when I got these. That ended up being a thing. This I got with a dear friend of mine that I met in hair school. And then, you know, some of my first, here's the ones in the song, some beauty here and there, you know, this flowers. Who doesn't love flowers? The bunny is representative of the little bunny I had when I was a little girl. There's a whole part of that story. You'll see part of that in my book. I'm not going to get into it, but the spiral, not great if you also know what that's for, which all these things started to come out later. I started getting really into like conspiracy theorists and all theorems and whatever. A bunch of crystals. I mean, we know some crystals are okay that are in the Bible, but you know, they definitely were an idol for me. I will say I had to throw all of them away, as pretty as they were. And then coming out of this old life and coming into my new life, I was really having a hard time trust, and I like literally needed it right there. And memento, remember. Really love like Latin and stuff. I've got a little Latin thing here. Ad lucem means to the light. And truth, capital T, truth. My dragonfly, also a very spiritual thing for me, that I've gotten in the more recent years. Worthy, also a very recent one, was the baby that I miscarried a couple months ago. It's going to be his name, with a little dove, because we've had tons of doves in our front. Especially, we have got a dove's nest still right in our front yard, and as I was mourning and in a lot of pain from that, I sat out front and I saw this dove's nest, and they always really speak to me. I know God's there, right? Of course, I got like a little alien, stupid, and a little nautical thing there, shell. I've got a bunch of astrology, all of my chart astrologies, which I'm like, I've rebuked and pled the blood of Jesus all over these things. But the numbers, shall we talk about that? Because the numbers are really interesting. I first off had like the 9, which was, and more spirals. I was obsessed with the spirals. The 9, was a numerology thing, which I definitely unsubscribe to now, but God speaks in numbers and he will use it all, right? So I was, my birthday 18, so I was like, I'm a 9, there's a whole thing, if you know. 7 and 5 were a couple of the other ones I first had. I was first confirmed that I was pregnant with my son, and she's like, oh, you're 7 and 5 today. And then I walked to the elevator and I looked at my fingers and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so weird. And then fast forward, his due date was 7/4, 4th of July. I was in labor all from the morning of the 3rd, all throughout the 4th. It was about almost midnight on the 4th. We had fireworks right outside, had baby at home from like San Diego to Mexico, and right outside our house you could see fireworks. And so and there was a full planetary alignment and full like lunar eclipse or something, like everything was happening in the sky that night. It was really wild. And my midwives were like, oh, let's take a vote. Like, is he going to come on the 4th or the 5th? And I was like, it's the 5th, yeah. And I was like so over it. But 7/5, and there he was. And then fast forward even more, right before I got married, whom I met my husband on TikTok. So that's the whole story, and maybe lots of you have heard it by now with multiple videos. But I just felt this need, and I was really pulled towards 222. Again, we don't subscribe to angel numbers, but God speaks heavily in numbers. And so 222, I just felt like I needed, like before I went and I was getting married. So I went and I got 1 on one hand and 2 on the other, 2 different fonts, and that's just how I did it. And I was going like this, just with my hands like this at lunch, and my husband took a picture of my hands, looking at the ring that we'd got, and that's the whole thing. Gosh, wait, you have both of my children's birthdays also? I told him about my son right before, and he's like, you have both 2 children, older, like teenagers, before they were mine. So all of my children then, thus far, were all on my fingers, engraved in my fingers, before they were ever mine. And then we got married not long after. It was a very quick thing. And then I got pregnant right away. And I'm like, wow, like that'd be so crazy, right? If God put another one on my fingers. But no way, there's no way. And her due date, there wasn't any options on my fingers, but I'm like, And so a week late, she came in May. And she did, and there it is. It was on my fingers as well. So all 4 then. Now with my new husband, all 4 on my fingers, and I just thought that was insane. And we'll see if he does it again. I lost this baby, and I was looking at when it would probably be due, and I didn't see any on my fingers, and lo and behold, didn't have him anyways. But that healed a big, deep part in me regardless. Really healed a part of the abortion I had, which is just a totally different talk. But tattoo testimony, some of us don't look the part, but it ain't gonna stop God. And people will judge, people will hate, Pharisee's gonna Pharisee. And so you just let them. Don't argue with stupid people. What? Just kidding. Love you. Bye.